You're listening to Semi-Pro Gridiron Rant, where we talk semi-pro all the time. All the time. A football podcast dedicated to you, the semi-pro athletes, coaches, team owners, and fans. You're welcome. And now, your host, Ken Anderson.
Well, all right. Well, welcome back to another edition of Semi-Pro Gridiron Rant. I am your host, Ken Anderson. Appreciate you joining us again for this episode. Today's guest, he's a man of many talents. He's he played a little QB, a little DB, a little wide receiver for me down in Jacksonville. He's done a little producing and writing of his own little mini series about football, and he's also been in a Tyler Perry episode and working on a possible second one. So why don't you guys help me welcome in Mr. Todd Jackson. I like to call the man TJ.
Hey, how y'all doing? Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining me, TJ. So let's start from the beginning, my man. We always like to start what brought you to football and what brought you to semi-pro football?
What actually brought me to football, my cousins. It's such an odd story. Growing up, my cousins always played football, and I had it was a particular time where I had to live with my cousins. I didn't know anything about football. My dad used to teach me how to play soccer. It was like a big thing, soccer this, soccer that. So when I was asking them about football, they thought I was talking about the actual American football, and I was talking about soccer. So they ended up teaching me the American football game, and I kind of became very good at it at a very young age. I was a high school superstar here in Jacksonville. I was a high school standout, I wouldn't say superstar, but was responsible for plenty of my school's touchdowns. I ended up going to University of Central Florida and transferring back to Jacksonville University, where I graduated 2009. Also played ball while I was there at JU as well. Semi-pro actually hit me my junior year. I believe I was at JU. One of my cousins played for the North Florida Rams, Duval Rams or something like that. And I went and checked out one of their games, and it was pretty interesting. It kind of looked like, I wouldn't say adult Pop Warner. I would more so say like minor league football. It was very organized. 6 referees on the field. Stadium lit up, plenty of fans. It was different. It was different than, semi-pro is now. It was like the city was really behind semi-pro football at the time. And I waited about 2 years before I actually, poked my head in. It was 2010, early 2011, before I made my debut. My rookie season, I took my team to the championship, me and Vashon Grissett. We were 2 rookies playing on an expansion, a newly built semi-pro team, the Duval Tigers, coached by Coach Ivan Brown. And we took that team to the championship. We lost in overtime on a fake field goal.
Ouch.
Yeah, so, my first year it was fun. I learned a lot. I learned how to be a better teammate, because coming out of D1 football and, playing with guys that are semi-pro, they come straight off the street. They don't have any technique, I would say, or any fundamentals about the way they play football. So it was different, basically gelling with those guys. And at the end of the day, although they came off the streets and played semi-pro football, those guys, they had talent to it. They probably got in trouble, didn't make it to college like most of us, or some didn't make it to high school, but they still had that talent that was still hidden there. So, semi-pro gives them an opportunity to still, get signed overseas or to arena football. I just seen a guy got signed by the Jets, the New York Jets, from a semi-pro team. So the door is open.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so let's start with that funny story about you were actually asking about soccer.
Right.
You were calling it football. Now, were you in the States when you were calling it football?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that was the crazy part, because my dad always called it football, and I took it as football. I wasn't watching American football. My family was big on basketball at the time. Like I could tell you anything about the NBA, from like 90, probably like 93 to like 2000. I could probably tell you anything.
Wow.
So it was different, so my dad was a big Chicago Bull fan. He, like I said, we didn't watch football too much. When I finally gravitated to football, it was through my cousins. They were diehard Dallas Cowboy fans. And it was at the right time, because when I first started watching football, the first person that I seen score a touchdown was Deion Sanders.
Nice.
And he did the Deion Sanders dance, and I was calling him Deion Santa Claus is what I used to call him, Deion Santa, because I didn't know his name. So it was like, this guy he's superhuman. He's faster than everybody. He gets in the end zone, and he does a dance, and the crowd goes crazy. So it was like, that was my first eye opener. Is like, I think I want to do this. So then it was from Deion Sanders to Michael Vick. Now, Michael Vick came more around my era, around my age group, where I was able to say, hey, I want to be just like this guy. So that's what kind of, developed my skills as a quarterback. Watching Michael Vick, watching Cordell Stewart, Troy Aikman, Steve Young. I had a few favorites. Mark Brunell with the Jaguars.
Some legends.
I like Mark. Yeah, there's a few guys, that I like that were pretty good quarterbacks.
So did you, when you first rolled into playing, did you automatically say, hey, I want to play quarterback, or what position what was the first position you ended up with?
This is going to be funny. Now, the very first position that I played was tight end.
Nice.
They put me in a game, they put me on the line, and they said, run a fly. And they told me to just turn around and look up, and the ball should be up. Now, the quarterback that I played with at the time, he was a drop back. He had played junior Pee Wee for like 3 years. So he was like one of the older kids on the team. So I get down there on the line. The first thing happened to me, the defensive lineman, as soon as he lifts up, he throws like sand or dirt, like the type of field we're playing on. So it was like, whew, it was like right in my face. And I'm like, and I'm trying to run. And as soon as I looked up, the ball just so happened to like hit me in the face mask and my hand. So I caught it like right here and literally just kept running with the ball. My very first catch was a touchdown.
Oh, nice.
And it was from like, it was, and guess what? It was on the University of Christian's field.
No way.
Yeah. The opposite end zone. Not the end zone I scored the 2 touchdowns in by the concession stand. The opposite end zone towards the gate, towards the nursing home behind the school.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it was very interesting. That's why I said it was, and I had number 85.
Okay.
So that's how I came up with it.
He's referencing the field that when I coached Todd is the field that we played on, actually, the University Christian field. So it's kind of funny that his first sound came up. So then at what point did you decide, tight end wasn't for you, whether it be you were, I'll say it, you're probably too athletic for that position. And, when did you discover you could throw the ball or you'd be better, defending, playing corner or playing safety or?
Well, I always played safety. I always played safety from the beginning. Like I always played defensive back, safety majority, because my coaches always said that I was smart. So they always called me a quarterback on defense. So it kind of made that came very easy to me. But as far as when I switched from tight end to receiver, that was the first position I switched to was receiver. My coach, I switched that game. That same game, I caught that first touchdown. Like the very next drive, I was popped out to wide receiver, and I think the guy threw me another pass that game. I caught a slant, and I broke. I think it was like 18, 15 yards or something like that. Got tackled in the middle of the field. We went to halftime. We came back from halftime. I got stuck at the oddest position at the time. I didn't know that this position was going to make me famous all the way up until I graduated high school. I got put at kick return.
Okay.
And the kick return that I ran it back. I was caught on the 1 yard line. My coach teases me to this day because I got caught on the 1 yard line. He said, nobody as fast as you should get caught on the 1 yard line. You should have dove in or something. So, but I learned my lesson I was 9 years old. So I learned from that day on, if I get in front of somebody, they're not going to catch me.
Right. Yeah, Todd's definitely a fast one. So that's one of his skills besides being an all-around utility dude is obviously the man can run. So it's nice to be able to utilize that. So here we are. We're growing up. They've got you all over the field. When did you settle in at playing quarterback, or was it just kind of been hit or miss throughout the years?
No. I actually, my 7th grade year, I was in middle school. My 7th grade year, I was at Northwestern Middle School, and the coach just flat out said that he wanted an athlete at quarterback. But it was just so happened I was a little more gifted. I could actually throw, and I had accuracy. So it wasn't. It was a situation where you wasn't just getting a athlete at quarterback. You're actually getting a quarterback that's an athlete.
Yeah.
Right.
Good combo.
So in that sense, 2 years in a row, we went undefeated at my middle school. We didn't lose a game for 2 years. My 9th grade year, I ended up going to William Raines High School. I got in a little bit of trouble. The class that we came in with, that class was destined for the next 4 years to win 4 state championships.
Wow.
That group of guys that came in together. But four of the key players ended up going to another school. I was one of the 4. So it separated that group. I ended up going to Terry Parker. Now, when I got to Terry Parker didn't throw the football. They made the wide receivers line up at 3-point stands. I immediately told the coach, no disrespect, I'm not playing football like that. I can't line up at wide receiver in a 3-point stance, be able to get up off the ground while a cornerback is trying to jam me. And I know this because I play defensive back.
Right.
So I know it's impossible.
Right.
So they ended up, they stayed with the one wide receiver thing. They ran a wishbone, a wing tee is what it was, a wing tee. I started out playing wing back initially because the jet sweeps and things of that nature. That's why I originally started out at 9th grade. 10th grade season rolled around. They ended up moving me to the receiver / I was like a Reggie Bush. You could put me at receiver or wing back, and they had certain plays set for me. But the only time that we threw a fade route, I was the receiver out there for the fade routes.
Okay.
So a lot of people got frustrated, but I was the one that was catching the balls too. It was other guys that were there before me. They weren't producing. So I mean, I'm not going to take a step back for a 10th grader or, even when I was a 9th grader, it was like I always wanted to be that person that my team, my coach can depend on. Same thing I told you when I met you.
Right.
You need me, whatever you need, I got you. So it was that situation. But like I say, 9th, 10th grade, I transferred to Parker. I was more so a wide receiver.
Okay.
That they used on special. They used me when we had halfback passes. Of course, I went to running back for the halfback passes and stuff like that. So I was more of an athlete in high school than just a particular wide receiver, DB, or quarterback.
Okay. And then when you went to college, what position did you play at college?
Defensive back. I played DB when I first got down to University of Central Florida. The odd thing was I ended up, me and my dad went on a visit. Coach McCarthy told me, he said that, we got scholarships available, but we don't have any offensive scholarships left. At this time, I was high on the offense side. I had 10 touchdowns my junior year. So I was recruited by 7 or 8 different schools here just in Florida. So I kind of was frustrated, and I told him, I say, well, maybe I'll see what FIU or FAU, if they have any offensive scholarships. He said, well, no, let me talk to Coach O'Leary, and we're going to see what we can do. So he talked to Coach O'Leary. They brought me in as a defensive back. I was the 6th defensive back on the roster. Then the first week of OTAs, I ended up moved to the third string quarterback. So now I'm listed as an athlete on the roster.
Gotcha.
And this is 2005. So I'm looking at they made the NCAA 2005 video game. So I'm looking at the game and I see my number and I see the city that I'm from, but I don't see my name. But of course, it's a college football game, so they didn't have anybody's name on it. So I was shocked because they had me listed as an athlete on the video game. So you could put me anywhere in the game. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Like just being on one video game my whole life, that was dope. So I kind of gravitated more so to the defensive back role while I was in college because I was able to learn a lot more, and I was covering guys like Brandon Marshall and Mike Sims Walker, and those guys, they'll be listed as NFL greats, for years to come. But I was covering guys like that while I was in college, and it helped me. I'm not a big dude. I'm a small guy, 5'11", 170 pounds. So, covering guys that's 6'5" and 6'4", and then you had Kevin Smith that played for the Detroit Lions. They played running back. He played with us down at UCF as well.
Okay.
So you had a few guys that were big guys, big names that were when I was there.
Mm-hmm. And then you transferred to, you said it was Jackson?
Jacksonville University, JU.
University. Gotcha, JU.
Yeah.
Okay. And then DB there as well?
Yeah, I actually came in. They brought me in as a quarterback.
Oh, okay.
They brought me in as a quarterback. They found out that I could play defensive back in practice one day. I hit a receiver, and I didn't mean to do it. It was one of those things where we were live action, but in college on Monday and Tuesday they want you to go hard.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday and Thursday hit, they don't want you to hit nobody. I was a freshman converting into a junior, so I'm still trying to understand how this whole thing works. Guy came across the middle of the field on a dig route, and I literally knocked he had his chin strap wasn't buckled on this side. So when I hit him, the helmet literally lifted up. I could feel it lift up. It was like on my face mask,
mm-hmm.
and I felt it when it lift up. And I just seen the dude fly. And I was like, I threw my hands up like I didn't try to do it, but it was the speed, and luckily he was okay. So, I mean, that was the main thing. But at that time, Coach Hauser told me that he coaches defense. He said that you're going to play defense this season. I have no choice.
Right.
So I didn't play much quarterback my sophomore year. I played more my junior year. Got a few more plays, few more reps. Just so happily, me and the other quarterback were roommates. And, I was able to learn the offensive playbook as well as working on my defensive playbook while I was there too.
Cool. So then we go into semi-pro with Vashon. That was what, 2011 you said?
Yeah, 2010. Yeah, 2010 season rolling into 2011, yeah.
Okay, so 2010, 2011. And you won, you went to the chip. And so what happened year after that?
The year after that, it was, are you a wrestling fan? Did you just follow wrestling back in the day, like the NWO and Hulk Hogan and them?
A while back. I don't know about that time frame, but I was old. It's like when The Rock was just beginning.
Okay, well, you probably can relate to the Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it was one of these situations where Coach Joe Davis from the Duval Panthers, he decided that he was going to have a meeting with Coach Ivan Brown of the Duval Tigers. Now, in this meeting, they were supposed to speak about merging, bringing two teams together, making it one Duval team.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was on board for it. Coach Ivan Brown, when we actually got to the facility that we were meeting at called the Kennedy Center, Coach Ivan Brown seen all this talent coming inside the doors. He pretty much was going to say, the hell with the Panthers, and he was going to try to keep all the players.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Joe pulled me to the side. When he pulled me to the side, he told me, he said, I'm going to be honest with you. He's saying, we need a quarterback. Steve Mott was getting ready to retire. He was about, 40-some odd years old. I was a fresh 23, 24-year-old kid. And he said, we need a quarterback. I told him I need a coach that's going to actually coach a football team and not bring us out here and watch us run around for 2 hours and then say, okay, go home and we got a game Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So we were on the same page. And what he ended up doing was he had me reach out to Jermaine Hughes, Robert Nelson. There's a few guys. Edie was one of the guys he had me reach out to. I think Edie was just getting ready to graduate high school or something like that. Scooter, which is Chris Green, and Mel. You remember Mel that played receiver for us, light-skinned Mel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was us five that he wanted me. He figured we got that core group of guys that everybody else would come. He was right. So that 2011 season with the Duval Panthers, we ended up going, it was like, I think we went like 7-3 or something like that. It was like 7-3. We only had 10 games. We ended up missing the playoffs because the team that we tied with, they actually had more points. So it was a point system thing where they ended up getting in the playoffs and we were knocked out. The very next year was 2012. That was my record-setting year. I threw 27 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Wow.
That year. So that kind of, I won the UFF MVP.
Was that with Panthers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, United Football. What was it? United Football Federation. I won the MVP that year. We actually went to the championship that year in the UFF, and we had coaching problems. We had 2 offensive coordinators. One offensive coordinator, he was stuck in the early 90s version of the football. He wanted to stick with a traditional pocket quarterback. That pocket quarterback ended up throwing 3 interceptions and a fumble in that championship game that we played in.
Wow.
I ended up going in the game mid-second quarter. Mind you, we only lost 12-6. This guy he had 4 turnovers by himself. I didn't have any. And I threw the only touchdown that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my thing was, I don't care how old the person is, you should play the hot hand no matter what.
Right.
And that's the same thing that when we used to talk to me about me and Derek, used to tell me all the time, well, hey, I want you there because, right now you're playing better.
Right.
I understood it, but it was like, I don't want to play it, but I understood it. So, it was a different, it's a different beast when you're dealing with 2 coaches that are few, and you can never win like that. Mm-hmm. So we lost that championship game 12-6. We lost that on a fake punt. The guy caught the punt on our team. He juked to the left. He juked to the right. He turned around in a complete circle, then went to pitch the ball back and pitch the ball to the other team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was, the second stage where I lost 3 championships. Wow. I lost 3. Before I won my first one, I lost 3.
All right. So, yeah, let's fast forward. Well, let's talk real quick about our season together. So that was, I'm trying to remember what year that was. I'm getting old, man. It's tough
2015.
That was 15?
Yeah, 15.
So we have a season together. TJ's played everything for us. Great, like I said, great athlete. We've had him running in the slot. We had him running out wide. We had him running quarterback. I think we tried running. We tried some cam plays with you where we had fullback leading runs for you. We had him playing DB. In some games we had him play both. It was just hell of an athlete. But like you said, it was we were kind of forced to play you there. I mean, which is unfortunate. John breaking his back the year before. John Reynolds, who came in and kind of assisted me that year a little bit. Had he been healthy, we could have let you play defense and then come on in and played slot occasionally instead of having to try to squeeze you on all of them. So that, hey, injuries in the semi-pro level can eat you up. But so then let's fast forward to, you said you went to the Blackhawks, right?
Before we go there, I want to make sure that we got this completely clear. The Jacksonville Spartans, under Coach Ken, were the 2015 North Conference champions in the UFL. We won the division, although we didn't go to the playoffs because the Blackhawks and the Steelers, they're on the board. But yeah, we went to. I don't know if Bashan told you that, Coach, but we got credit for winning the division.
Oh,
they told us that the lie that they gave us was that Bashan didn't pay the money to go into the playoffs. That's a bunch of crap because you pay the league fee to begin with. There is no playoff fee.
Mm-hmm.
So we got bucked.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah. So that next year, I went to the Blackhawks. Unfortunately, that next year, and that was 2016. I think Vi ended up folding the team. He didn't have the team that year or something, and Craig ended up starting the Raiders.
Right.
So we went and we got beat by the Ocala Bulls, Central Florida Bulls.
Yep.
No, that's what they were. They were the Ocala. They were Ocala. They weren't the Bulls. I know it was Jason's team. I think it was the Bulls. I don't remember. It was a team in Ocala. That's who beat us. The Ocala team beat us. But they beat us 62-6.
Damn.
The 6 points came off my arm. It was, again, one of those situations where the coach rotating quarterbacks, trying stuff, and we had a running back that scored 6 times by himself on the ground, 6 running touchdowns. I didn't play defense at all.
Wow.
It ain't no way that a defensive there's no way that a running back is outrunning me 6 times on the field in one day. It's not happening.
Wow.
It's not happening.
It's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that about our season. I mean, I'm proud to say I never lost to the Blackhawks. Although unfortunately I never beat the Steelers.
Right. Oh. We didn't beat, or we only played them that one time that year. We only played them once.
Yeah. So I never beat the Steelers either. So it is what it is. So then let's fast forward to what was it? 17 was your last year?
18.
18. Okay. So let's tell us a little about 18. That's your year you won it all, right?
Yeah. 18 was the year. 18 was a journey. I was hard. We were very excited about the season 2018. A lot of us, or 2 of us, ended up going to Brunswick. We were getting ready to play with the Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Robert Thomas and all us, we had a conversation that was like, okay, we're going to play together this year and win it all. We went up there I actually played against the Blackhawks before I went to the Blackhawks. I played against the Blackhawks with the Revolution.
Nice.
And beat them. Yeah, and beat them. So I scored on them too. So it was one of those things where when I came back home, they was like, oh, he a traitor, he da. I was like, hey, I could do this to you, or I could do this with you.
Right.
Or we could do it together. So we ended up, we laughed about it. A lot of us didn't agree with what Coach Waters had going on in Georgia. So we left.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't respect Florida players too much. He started his son, which was the worst player on the team, and he played defensive end, and he was probably about 140 pounds. So it was like,
I think I remember that kid from when we played against him.
Yes, the same guy who was getting pancaked the whole game. Yes. Right. So I ended up going to the Blackhawks. I had a conversation with Coach Kurt. I let him know that I basically let him know, hey, look, I was over there with the Spartans, the year before last, and I had coaches. I had an offensive coach. I had a defensive coach. These guys had playbooks. These guys had rotations. These guys had groups. I'm not with the sandlot stuff that, I've been hearing about over here and what I dealt with, the previous. So we ended up, getting on the same page. And the way that I won the championship, I had to learn my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for me to be able to be successful with them, I had to know what triggered them, what motivated them, what pissed them off, what, you know what I'm saying? If we were on the road, what type of food they like to eat. Just something just to start some type of bonding period between me and my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I took that whole season to learn them and at the same time become a better player for myself. We ended up, I think we lost one game that year. I think we only lost one game, which we beat the Steelers. So they beat, and when they beat us was the first game of the season. When we beat them was the last 2 games, but we beat them when it counted.
Exactly.
And I actually sealed the front door to take us to the conference championship. I intercepted one of Brandon. I think it was the guy Brandon. He was at quarterback. I ended up picking off one of his passes. And then the game before that, I ended up picking off one of Kyrie passes. So, they treated him like he was a superstar. So,
right.
But yeah, me and a guy named Austin, we ended up sealing it for us and sending the Blackhawks back to a championship for a second time. And just so happened when we went the second time, we played those guys that we played with the Spartans the first game of the season, the Storm, Lake County Storm.
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up beating the Storm 21-6.
Nice.
So, yeah, I had an interception that game and a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Wow. Very good. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, congrats on getting the ring. Those are always fun to get. Now, outside of football, you've been a busy man too. So you've been working on a do we call it a mini series? Do we call it a show? What do you call it?
It's a web series is on YouTube. It's called Off Season. You can actually searching Todd Jackson's Off Season. And I actually put like you said, I've been working on it for the past couple of years. I actually put it on hold this year, my brother was murdered on March the 29th of this year. Yeah, and he was very close to me. He was one of the co-stars in the actual show. He's the bald-headed guy that's in the show that he's always clowning. There's always a good vibe around him. His name is Sean in the actual show. And it was just something that a robbery gone bad. A guy that he thought was his friend, robbed him and shot him 6 times for no reason. So it's one of those situations where it kind of threw me in a slump for a while. For like 6 months, I've been dealing with like depression. I had lost a lot of weight. I lost almost 30 pounds. I just started getting my weight back. I was down to like almost 125 pounds.
Wow.
Suffering with depression. So yeah, I'm back up now to 150 pounds. Trying to get everything back together. I have started back filming, and my brother's birthday is November 3rd, so I plan on releasing the actual movie. I plan on turning my show into a movie and releasing it in honor of him, and the proceeds to go towards his 2 kids that he has. Because I mean, like I always told him, if anything ever happens to him, then his kids are my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything that I've been doing has been to take care of my 2 kids as well as his 2 kids as well.
Well, that's, sorry to hear that, but that's an awesome thing for you to do is, help out with the kids for sure. So, let me know if there's anything I can do on my end to help, push the show. I can, when you release it, let me know, and I'll send it out to our base and, have people watch as well. So, on a fun side, you ended up on a Tyler Perry episode of Revolution, episode 9. You said it was. I'm sorry, it's called
Revelations.
Revelations is the name of the episode, but it's Sisters is the name of the show on BET, correct?
Yeah, and he has an odd spelling of the of sisters. He spells it SISTAS.
Oh, sisters.
So it's like sisters. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
sisters. Okay.
Yeah, and it was a number 1 last season. It was number 1 show on BET. So we cut big waves there because that was one of the first sitcoms that was a drama / sitcom that was filmed at the new Tyler Perry Studios. When we were actually filming there, it wasn't even open yet. It was only allowed. We were the only ones allowed there, just the actual actors and actresses.
Wow. So how did that happen? How did you get into that?
I ended up sending a demo reel of some of the local movies that I had did here.
Oh yeah.
And I sent the demo reel to Southeastern Casting Agency. When I sent it to them, they hit me back right like immediately, and just was like, I got the look, I got the whole build of what they're looking for this particular episode. So it was a gym episode. So they wanted me to be inside the gym riding a exercise bike.
Mm-hmm.
And once I step off the bike, I'm walking behind some of the women that just finished working out in the gym. So it's kind of like an eye candy scene. They kind of sprayed a bunch of water on me and stuff, made me like I was sweating. And yeah, it was put it like this. It was the quickest $250 I ever made in my life.
There you go.
And I rode the bike for about 7 minutes.
Nice. Nice. Hey, and listen, you got treated like a piece of eye candy. Again, how bad's that, right?
Right. No, I can't complain at all.
Oh, that's funny. Perfect. And then you said they're going to have another season, and they may have you back for another episode there too.
Yeah. The second season should be getting ready to start here in October. I supposed to go up there either next week, whenever the 14th is. I think it's October the 14th, October the 15th. I supposed to go that week, and they're going to already be filming, but the actual studio that I'm filming in is only going to be the actors and actresses that's going to be in that actual episode. Usually we're all together,
mm-hmm.
but it's going to be separate because they're going to actually be filming live for the other episode. So
gotcha.
It's going to be interesting because I've never seen a live production, like been behind the scenes of a live production. So I'm going to try to like see if Tyler Perry let me poke my head in there a little bit
right.
and get his director expertise on it. Cause he's a real cool dude. He talks to us. He doesn't act.
he doesn't act like he's, better than anybody else.
Mhm.
How me and you, how we're sitting here talking, he's liable to contact me on the Zoom the same way.
Really?
I mean, he's one of those type of guys that's very down to earth, and I love him as a person. Like, he's a real cool dude.
Very cool. I mean, he's come a long way, right? I mean, he went from being an extra like you were in that, right, to now he's a star and has his own production and his own, own series and stuff like that. So he's definitely.
And he was homeless. And he was homeless.
I didn't know that part.
He was homeless for.
Wow.
He was an actor. He was an extra first. He started back in 1993, and he was homeless back in 2000, from like 2004 to like 2000. I think it was like 2002 to like 2004 or something like that. And he was discovered in Atlanta. He was living up under a bridge in Atlanta. And what's so crazy is that the same bridge that he lived under in Atlanta, my uncle was living under that same bridge. He was homeless in Atlanta.
Wow.
So my uncle Leon Jackson, he's passed away now. He died back in 2009, but him and Tyler Perry were like literally sleeping like up under the same like little area.
Wow.
And he introduced my grandma to Tyler Perry through the plays and stuff.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Small world, right?
Yeah. My goddaddy has pictures with him and Danny Glover.
Wow.
Yeah, so actors have been around my family my whole life pretty much. Like,
very cool.
Yeah, so I guess it's time for me to finally poke my head in there.
There you go. So what's next for Todd Jackson?
I'm thinking about coming out of retirement. 34, just turned 34 in January. So I'm thinking about coming out of retirement. I retired way too early.
Mm-hmm.
But it was things that I wanted to do, things I wanted to see. I wanted to go to the Bahamas, and I had never been to Miami to hang out, and that was something different for me. So it was a couple of things that I wanted to do that was on my bucket list that I retired early, and me and my fiance took the liberty of doing it. Now I've done it, so now I'm letting her know that I'm getting that itch again that I want to play. But my son, he's doing so good right now at defensive back. And it's kind of like, I'm putting my all into him, so I don't know. We'll see. Mm-hmm. That's what we'll see. I mean, once I start back working out, we'll see.
You posted, I think it was this morning I saw it, or maybe it was yesterday, but you posted some pictures of his uniform. The black and orange?
Yeah, the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, that shit's nice. Boy,
yeah.
That's nicer than most uniforms I played in.
Man, they're black and orange, but they're trimmed in green. So like the feathers on the pants, like they're trimmed in green, and the number, like, they dope. Those are the rawest uniforms that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. These kids, man, these kids are spoiled rotten these days.
Yeah, they're definitely spoiled, man.
New uniforms every year, beautiful uniforms. And
my son's team has 3
sets.
Yes, they have gray, they have white, and they have black.
Damn. Definitely spoiled. Hey, what are you gonna do though, right?
They work hard. I mean, they work hard. They deserve it. They go out and do fundraising. They stand out on the corners with the buckets and collect money, and I mean, they work hard for it. So their coach, he doesn't take any of the money and spend it on himself. He spends it all on the kids.
Good.
So I know and I know firsthand because I'm actually the defensive back coach on the team. Okay. So I know for a fact that he's doing what he's supposed to do with the money.
Nice. So, so you're coming out of retirement. Anything, and then you're gonna hopefully go back to another Tyler Perry episode. Anything else you got we need to look out for?
I written a movie called Debate, bait, like your debate, and basically that movie is about me and a female detective. She's been hired on her. She's been brought in, and this is her first big case. And just so happily, I'm the bait. So she's the bait, basically. They're going to basically put her out there in every spot that they know me to be in. My family is known for having, big lump sums of buku money. So they're trying to figure out, how are we making this money? Are we selling dope? Do we have businesses or whatever the case may be? Mm-hmm. But it's a situation where she meets me inside of a club, and her first mission is to make sure that she captures me and catch me doing dirt. But she grows to fall in love with me and then find out that I'm not a criminal at all. My dad owns an internet. He owns an internet company, and it's a bunch of stuff that goes deep. My mom is a lawyer, and my brother, he sells stuff on $5 and below.com.
Oh,
so we got
you got everything going on.
Yeah, we got 3 different operations going on. The police say we're doing something illegal because we're making so much money, but we're not.
Okay.
And then, you know, everything it's a whole, I think everybody's going to like that one because it gets real deep. It shows how you can be easily stereotyped based on, you know, how you came up. So I got that going on. Also,
when's that going to be? Is that something you're going to start filming soon, or you're just finished writing up? Or
yeah, I've already finished writing it. I'm probably going to start filming probably once I release the movie that I'm going to put for my brother's on.
Makes sense.
It's probably going to be in January or February of 21 is what I'm pushing for. So around that time, I plan on for the next 3 years writing a movie and releasing a movie every 6 months. So if I release one in January, I can release another one in June. Wow. Then I can release another one in December.
You'll be hustling.
Yeah. But I got the material. I got so much stuff I already wrote that it's just sitting here, you know. So I give people stuff. I write stuff and I give it to them, and they film it and make money off of the stuff and don't give me nothing, you know. So
you might want to change that program, TJ. Say, hey, listen, I'll sell this to you.
No more.
I'll give it to you a couple $100.
Yeah, nothing.
Get something out of it.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do nothing else for free. I'm watching a guy right now literally make money off my web series that we were just talking about. He's making money off my web series on his YouTube page because it's on his YouTube page. It's not on mine.
Gotcha.
So once he got over 1,000 views, he gets paid $1 every time somebody hits on it. I got 4 episodes. They're all over 1,000 views.
There you
just
go.
Imagine. Yeah, like
that's it. You got something. He's at least got to buy you a coffee or something. Come on.
He got to buy me something, man. He got a T-shirt or something.
Right.
God.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right, man. It's been great catching up with you. I really appreciate you doing this for me. I know it's kind of a weird recording time for us. We're in the middle of the week, but you know, I definitely appreciate you doing this. And man, you got a lot going on football wise, and even with the son, and then you got, you know, these movies you're working on. So you know, keep it up, keep grinding, and keep being that athlete.
Definitely. I definitely appreciate it, Coach Ken. Definitely appreciate everything you did for me while we was with the Spartans as well. If you was able to come back here and coach, I wouldn't give a damn if I was 50. I'd come out of retirement and play for you.
All right, appreciate that. I'll look you up if that happens.
All right, Coach.
All right, man. Have a great week. Appreciate you.
You too.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Semi-Pro Gridiron Rant. We hope you enjoyed the show. For more episodes, please check out the website at www.semiprogridironrant.buzzsprout.com. To reach us directly, please email us at semiprogridironrant@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at Semi-Pro Gridiron Rant. Thanks again for listening.